Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining. Today I'm here to talk to you about how to get started with ManyCam in your VIP Kid classroom or any online classroom for that matter. I am a VIP Kid teacher and that is the platform that I know. So let's go ahead and get started. I have so much to talk to you about. First, I want to say that this video is for the very beginner in ManyCam. I am not going to go over everything in ManyCam. I'm only going to go over certain things to get you started. And then throughout the next weeks, I will be releasing more videos to talk about other things that you can do with ManyCam in your classroom and how you can use it to really enhance your lessons with your students. I am a huge fan of ManyCam, and I know that this has been a giant factor to why I get regular students and why I enjoy my job so much. And I am so excited to share this with you. I also will link down below my lighting that I got from Amazon. It is a ring light. I think this is important with ManyCam so that your students can see you. Really not even with ManyCam, but if you're an online teacher in general, it's very important to have good lighting. And so down below, I have shared my ring light with you. And also I've shared some other videos from some other teachers that I have gotten great tips from. And maybe you want to look at those as well because you may find them to be helpful for you also. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, in case anybody who didn't know or you don't follow me on Instagram and you haven't seen my IGTV video about ManyCam, if you're a VIP Kid teacher, it's important to note that you actually are offered a discount through VIP Kid with ManyCam. And you can access this discount through the Six Apple Club. So if you log on to your teacher portal and you go down to the Six Apple Club, in the technology section, you will see ManyCam, and they offer what is called the Studio VIP Kid edition of ManyCam. And it is for $29.95, I believe. Pause. Okay, I was clearly wrong, and it's $24.95, not $29.95. Okay, continue. For an entire year's subscription, and it is totally worth it. Totally worth it. And you get access to a lot of things that you wouldn't get access to with the standard version of ManyCam if you didn't do the VIP Kid discount. So if you're a VIP Kid teacher, I highly suggest hopping over to the Six Apple Club if you're thinking about purchasing and do it through them because it's a way better deal and you get a lot more features like green screen and you get more presets and all of that. So once you have downloaded ManyCam onto your computer and you get in, what do you do? Let's start with the basics. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is these screens down below. If you look, there are a bunch of blocks that have plus signs. The ones with the plus signs are presets that you have access to, that you can use. The ones that have a lock are ones that you do not have access to. With the Studio VIP Kid edition of ManyCam, you get 12 presets, and believe me, you don't think you'll use that many, but you'll find that you actually use a lot of them once you get comfortable with ManyCam and you start adding on Google Slides or any other type of reward, or you have other things that you want to show in other screens. So first, let's start with, right now you are looking at me on ManyCam, and I want to show you how you can pull yourself up through your webcam on ManyCam. Now, typically, they will all look down below with the plus signs. Right now, you can see me, but yours probably won't look like this. Yours will be just a plus sign. So I'm going to show you in the second preset here. You can choose any preset that you prefer. So if you want to use the first preset, you can, which is where I am now, or if you want to do the second or the fifth, whatever you prefer. So in order to do that, what you do is you will click on the plus sign in the preset down below. When you do that, a list of options comes up. And at the very top of the list, you will see any webcams that you have available for ManyCam to use. I only have one camera, and that is my Logitech webcam, and it's listed as the HD Pro webcam. That is what you will choose. Whichever one you use in your VIP Kid classroom on a regular basis, that's the one that I want you to click on. So go ahead and select that webcam. When you do that, ta-da, now I'm also in this preset as well. So like I said, you can choose whichever preset you prefer, but that's how you get to it. So eventually, like I said, you can get to a point where you can add on other screens. You can customize your view of your desktop if you have something you want to show your student that's on your computer. But today, I'm only going to stick to this screen of you in ManyCam through your webcam. Let's talk about the most common way to use ManyCam, which is by adding effects, whether it's stars or you have a vocabulary word that you want to show an example of through your lesson, or you want some type of reward. There's so many things you can do with effects, and I want to show you how to get there and how to get yours set up and downloaded. So over here on this menu screen, on the sidebar, you will see a list of options, and you want to go down to the one that says effects whenever you hover over it. It looks like the wand with the stars coming out. So click on effects, and when you do that, now you won't have this many folders. I do because I have already set mine up, and I'm going to show you how to do that, but you will likely only have a few folders. It will probably be an objects folder, unordered, and face mask. I believe that ManyCam comes with these standard because when you download effects, they automatically go to those folders, and then you have to move them to any other folders that you create. But we'll go ahead and go through that so I don't confuse you. Okay, so as you can see, I alphabetize all of my effects. It makes it really easy for me whenever I'm in the middle of class and we're talking about something that I wasn't prepared for and I need to find an effect quickly. I am able to do that because everything is alphabetized and I have them in select categories to know kind of where to go. So if I know that the student is all of a sudden saying, but I really like cats, I can go to my animals folder and I can find cats. Just like that in an instant without having to take my focus off of the screen and digging in a drawer. This is one of the reasons why I'm such a huge fan of ManyCam, because whenever you first start with ManyCam, you think that it's going to slow you down, and it may for the first couple of times until you get used to maneuvering in it. But once you have it down, it cuts down everything and you have everything at your fingertips. So it's really, really a great option for props and for rewards. So let's go ahead and talk about how do you create all of these folders. If you look at the top where it says effects, there is a button for a folder with a plus sign and it says create new category. That's what you're going to want to do, is to click on that to create a new folder. Here it will allow you to add a title to the folder that you want. I am going to name this one example, so that you can see how I set it up and how I alphabetize it and then add effects to it. So you can name it whatever you want. You can start with whatever effects you want. You could make multiple folders and then go and add effects. However you feel you want to do it, you can do it that way. I'm pretty sure that I started with like animals and food and tons of characters because I have a lot of level 1 students. And so I did Hello Kitty and Paw Patrol and Ultraman and superheroes and all kinds of things. That's kind of where I started. And then as my lessons went on, I added effects as I knew the vocab that was coming and the props that I would need throughout my classes. So that's how my list has grown, but I did not start out with all of that. So don't feel overwhelmed by how many effects I have and what is typical. So once you add your title, hit create, and what happens is that folder that you just created will automatically go to the very bottom of your list of categories. And all you have to do to put them in alphabetical order is to click on it and hold and then drag to wherever you want. So I'm going to go up and I'm going to find, it's very slow, I am going to find the E's and drop it in where it needs to go for alphabetical order. So now you can see I have my example folder here, and if you click on it, there's nothing there yet. I need to add some effects to it. So I'm going to hit the back button to go back to the list of all of my categories, and let's talk about adding effects. So beside of the button where you can create a new category, there's another button, it's a plus sign. You would use this button if you had effects that you had either created on your own or downloaded elsewhere other than ManyCam. I'm not going to show this today because today we're only going to download effects from ManyCam. But if you ever had any effects that you had created on your own, or maybe you bought them off of Etsy or somewhere else, this is where you would go to find those on your documents. So the one beside of that one is where we want to go with the arrow pointing down. This is to get your effects from ManyCam. When you select that, a pop-up will appear that will show all of the effects that ManyCam has to offer. They have it in categories, and also they have a search function which allows you to look for something specific that maybe you need for your lesson. So they update this often. People add effects all of the time, and so it's really fun to use and to make sure that you keep looking at it and adding things that you want or may need. Let's start with animals. Let's say that my folder, instead of it being an example, is an animals folder. Let's select animals, and then they have subcategories here to decide what animals you want. So say that I knew I needed some insects, which actually I probably do need some insects. So let's say I wanted to do insects. And in order to get that effect to go onto your own ManyCam and into the correct folder, this is what you do. So say that I wanted to get this bumblebee. How do I get that bumblebee onto my ManyCam and into the correct folder? This is what you do. First, you need to click the effect in the ManyCam pop-up, and once you do that, a blue download button will appear. Click the download button, and once that is done, the effect will automatically pop up on the screen or preset that you have selected down below. Now, go ahead and minimize your effects, and let's figure out, here's this bee, number one, how do I get it off, and how do I know where it is? So whenever you select this, you will see in your categories menu a orange circle with a 1 appear next to a folder. In this one, it happens to be for the objects folder. It could go to the unordered folder, or if it's a face mask that you downloaded, it could go to the face mask folder. And like I said, all three of those are already installed on the ManyCam website whenever you download it. So they should already be there once you've gotten ManyCam onto your computer. The way that you know where the effect went is if there's that orange circle beside of it. If you've downloaded multiple effects, it may have a 3 or a 4. I only downloaded 1, so it's showing a 1. So if you click on the objects folder, you will see that that bumblebee is right there in my objects folder. So how do I get this bee off of my screen? If you click on the bee over in your effects category, it will disappear. If you click it again, it is there. Click it one more time, it's gone. So how do you move this to an animals folder or an insects folder, whatever you have? If you right click the effect and hover over move to, it will then show you all of the categories that you have to move this object to. So I'm going to go ahead and move this to my animals folder. I kind of keep animals and insects together. And so I'm going to go ahead and select the animals category right here. Once I select that, it is now gone out of my objects folder. So if I go back and scroll up to my animals folder, there it is, right here where I wanted it to go. Boom. So that's how you download effects from ManyCam, and then how you categorize them into the proper folders so that they're easy to find throughout your lessons. So now that you know how to download effects, how to create categories, and how to organize those categories, how can you use these in class? I'm going to give you a few examples of some of the effects that I use often and where I can keep them so that they're easily accessible, and ways that you might want to start out using ManyCam in your classroom for the first time or two to get yourself comfortable and not overwhelm yourself with everything that ManyCam has to offer. If you look at the very top right above effects, you will see the categories with the wand and the stars, and right beside of that is a heart. That is your favorites folder, and this folder is where you can go. If you have any effects that you use often, you can select them to be a favorite, and that way you're not having to search through all of these categories if you use them for a lot of your classes. And honestly, whenever I first started out with ManyCam, I used this favorites category to prevent me from having to toggle between all of the folders categories because I was so nervous. And so this is where you can go if you have a class coming up and say it's talking about food and there are other things that you have downloaded. You can favorite all of those and keep them in this favorites category so that you're not having to go back and forth between categories and favorites and this folder and that folder. Go ahead and make them all favorites so that you can go to one place. They are all here and you're not having to do a lot of clicking until you get comfortable and you're able to go back and forth, because you will get to that point, I promise. We have a favorites category. How do you make an effect a favorite? So let's go back to the bumblebee that we just had. I'll go to my animals folder, and whenever you hover over the object, you will see that there is a heart. If you click on that heart and it becomes red, that means that it's been moved to your favorites folder. So it doesn't take it all the way out of your categorized folder, but it just moves a copy of it to the favorites folder. So now if you go back up top to the favorites, and there's my bumblebee in my favorites folder. So this is how you can create items to be favorites and to keep them kind of all in one place, especially for things that you use often. Now, some of the things that I use often are stars. I pretty much use these for all of my level 1 and level 2s and definitely my trial classes. And there are a number of options for stars that I like to use. There's another teacher, Teacher Sam, I believe is her name. I will link some videos of hers down below. I actually learned this from her in one of her YouTube videos. She also has a Facebook group that she's a part of, and I will link that as well. If you have not joined it, you should. They have a lot of great information, a lot of teachers that use ManyCam, and if you have a ton of questions and you just don't know what to do, they are all there to help you. It's a great group. It's a great community. This one here that says Dancing Star, I love this one. Teacher Sam used the example that in her class, she will actually blow the star onto the screen. So if you click the star at the same time that you blow, it appears in the corner. And once you have an effect on your screen, you can do a lot of things with it. You can drag it wherever you'd like on the screen. You can resize the item. There's a lot of options. So as far as these stars, what I like to do is I will choose either these dancing stars, or my recent favorite would be these rainbow stars. They are so cute and the girls love them. So I would click on the star to make it appear, or I would even blow at the same time. And then I drag it over to the other side because they get 5 stars in the class. So I will be adding 5 stars to my screen. So say that I move on and we do the next section of the lesson and I'm ready to give a reward again. How do you make multiple stars appear on your screen? If you click it, it goes away, right? So you don't want to click it because it's going to go away. So once you have 1 star or 1 effect on your screen, if you want to duplicate that item, you have to hold the control function on your keyboard at the same time that you click the effect. So right now I'm holding down my control key on my keyboard and I'm going to click at the same time, and there's my second star. And you can add as many as you want. You just have to make sure that you are holding down that control key on your keyboard. You can add these effects one at a time. What you cannot do is take them away one at a time. If you want to get rid of these, they all go away at the same time. There's no way to make them go away one at a time. And again, the way that you get them to go away is no longer hold the control function, just click on the object in the category and they all go away at one time. I even like, if I've got something up and I want it to go away, I even like to do a goodbye and swipe it off for them. They like that too. They think it's really funny. Right now, a zebra's up. Goodbye, zebra. And I'll swipe them away and they just think that it's funny. And I'm just doing movements at the same time that I'm clicking with my mouse. So I typically use a secondary reward that will be Google Slides or a 2D reward or something like that. But usually for my trials, level 1s and level 2s, I'll do my secondary reward and then Once I'm done with that, I'll then go to add my star on VIP Kid. Before I do that on VIP Kid's portal, I usually always add a star to my screen, because at the end, what I love about this is that at the end, once I have done the whole secondary reward and I've added all of the stars to VIP Kids portal and they're all on here, I make my students count the stars or the item, whichever object or effect that I have on screen. This way they can practice counting, especially for those younger students and the beginning level students who are learning numbers. And I even make them tell me the colors in the stars. So the stars are a huge win. I think you can't go wrong with that. If that's even how you want to start to begin and only download the stars, I think that's such a great idea, and it will allow you to get more comfortable with ManyCam the more that you use it. Another option that you could do for class for a reward, if you're looking to do a digital reward, but you want to still make it easy and not go the Google Slides route, is I like to add characters or things that my students like to my screen instead of the stars. So maybe I will give them 5 Hello Kitties or 5 dinosaurs or 5 Ultraman or 5 superheroes, whatever it is. I like to do that. Or 5 animals, and I make them tell me the name of the animal, and it's a good thing for extension. There's just tons of options. Now, let me start with showing you maybe Hello Kitty. I like to use this with my younger girls, of course, and if you search Hello Kitty in ManyCam, so many options, it's insane. Okay, so say that it's been 5 minutes into class and it's time for me to do a reward. I will say, you get a Hello Kitty, and I will throw a Hello Kitty up on the screen. Typically, I will resize my effects so that they all kind of fit right here, because you have to think, I actually use a lot of things on my screen throughout class, which you will learn and you will get comfortable doing as well. But I'll resize my items, and I will go 5 more minutes, and I'll say, you get another Hello Kitty. Bam, Hello Kitty. I will resize it. We can talk about, what is Hello Kitty wearing? What colors is she wearing? What does she have on her head? There's a lot of things to talk about with all kinds of rewards like this. And with this one, I like doing this as well, because you don't have to hold that control function, because you're actually selecting different Hello Kitties for them to look at. You could, of course, do the same Hello Kitty every time. I like to switch it up, but it's just an option for you. But I love things like this because it's a very easy reward, and it gives you a lot of extension options, but you don't have props everywhere. You're not having to laminate things or cut things out. You're not having to search all over the place, Dollar Tree, Target, Dollar Spot, whatever. It's so nice. I love this as an option. So if you don't want to do the stars and you want to go just like a little bit further, you could even do characters, or animals, or food. I mean, they've got monsters, My Little Pony. If you look at, I know it looks like I'm not looking the right way, but I am on my screen. There's so many options. I mean, you could give them basketballs if you wanted to, or you could give them actual awards, or trophies. I don't know, where's my trophies? Huh? Trophies, where are you? Oh, it's under sports objects. If you want, you can give them trophies, and you don't have to actually have the trophies. And so it's less clutter, less props everywhere, and it's so much easier to maintain. It's such a great option, and I love it. So these are the ways that I would suggest you start with using ManyCam. It's going to be the easiest, and what's going to allow you to get more and more comfortable with using this function. And like I said, the more you use it, the easier it will get. I am the first person to say, I am not a techie person. I am not in my 20s. I am not living that life where I know what I'm doing. This is all from learning, and the first couple of classes may have been like a little awkward at moments because I was trying to navigate where I was going, but it gets so much easier, and now it's so easy for me, and all of my regular students know what's coming. They get excited about it, and it just makes your class that much more fun, that much more interactive, and the students will remember you. But more importantly, the parents will remember you. This is how you can increase bookings. This is how you can increase your regulars and make your class memorable. So I really, really hope that this gave you some good information to get started with ManyCam, to get everything set up, and to get you on your way to feeling really comfortable with using it and eventually adding more and more things to your classroom to make it fun, because not only is it fun for the students, but it's fun for the teacher as well. So I'm super excited for you. If you have any questions, let me know. My email address is linked down below, or leave a comment, please. I'd love to hear from you, and I'm here to help. This is my whole point in doing these videos, and I'm super excited for next week to come out with more information about things that you can do with ManyCam in your classroom. We'll kind of hype it up a little bit, and it's more things that you can practice and add on as you go. So if you like this video, be sure to give me a big thumbs up and to hit that subscribe button so that you can see everything that comes out in the next few weeks about ManyCam. You're on your way to having really, really fun classes. So I really appreciate you watching. See you next time, guys. Bye.